Our first speaker, Dr. Jim Burkhart, was named the President and CEO of Tampa General Hospital in 2013. And Dr. Burkhart took the helm at Tampa General following his tenure as the President and CEO of University of Florida Shands at Jacksonville Medical Center. Dr. Burkhart provided the strategic direction for effective hospital operations and formed a strong partnership with the academic dean of the University of Florida College of Medicine, where he served as Senior Associate Dean for Medical Center Affairs, which provided a melding of academic excellence and business success. Prior to his time in Jacksonville, Dr. Burkhart served in a variety of healthcare leadership capacities, including a position as president and principal of the Endeavor Health Group, the president of Fort Sanders Park West, and regional medical centers in Knoxville, Tennessee. Dr. Burkhart also served in the military for 35 years, retiring as a colonel from the Air National Guard in 2007. Jim holds a Doctorate of Science, Administration Health Services, and a Master of Hospital and Healthcare Administration from the University of Alabama at Birmingham. He graduated from the University of Tennessee with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Biology. So without further ado, Dr. Burkhart.
Thank you. I guess that means that if you can go from the dairy farm to anywhere, right? I grew up on a dairy farm in a little town called Maryville, Tennessee, so the accent gets you up. I am from the South. So I'm going to take just a few minutes and talk about the hospital, but I really want to talk about the future of healthcare, because I think that's probably what interests you the most. I know it does me most of the time. Okay, I'm not going to take long for this. This is sort of the propaganda material. We're a 1,011-bed hospital, academic medical center. I think the things that aren't up there are more important. We've been the recipient for the 10th year in a row of the Consumer Choice Award for the best hospital in Tampa. We were just named a Becker's Top 100 Hospitals in the United States. And we've been named 3rd year in a row as the best hospital in Tampa Bay by U.S. News and World Report. Those are probably the things we're more proud of than the statistics that you see up there. But you'll see it's quite a large hospital with a very complex patient mix. Our patients are, for the most part, very sick when they come to us. We get trauma patients, we have burn patients, we have patients that are needing transplants and things of those natures, and you see the numbers that are up there. The average daily census in that hospital is over 800. That's quite busy on 1,011 beds. When you get to about 80% occupancy, you start squeaking a little bit because of mixing patient types, and can't put male patients on female units and things of that nature, can't put adults in pediatric units, et cetera, et cetera. So the thing that I want to point out is actually the picture, because we are a great hospital in the middle of the bay. Okay. A little isolated. Might consider that a good place in the old days, being surrounded by water. It has its fears. We're putting a lot of money into energy plants right now and things of that nature, just to make sure that we're ready and hardened if something bad happens. But it also speaks to the geographic piece, which means that we're pretty compact in one place and not well spread out into the community for access. So let's sort of shift gears. I want to talk primarily about these two slides. And I want you to focus on the one that's primarily blue on your left-hand side first, which is the current state of healthcare. It's a fee-for-service business. It was built on the model, if you do more volume, you get paid more. Here's the problem with that. The center of the target is Tampa General Hospital. That is the most expensive place you possibly can go for care. When you go to an academic medical center or a community hospital and you have to have your care delivered in that type of setting, you're in the most expensive place that you can go to be taken care of. And there's a lot of cost shifting. I don't have to tell you about cost shifting because there's a fairly large number, somewhere around 4 million people in the state of Florida that do not have insurance. And so you're talking about you and I paying for that, right? So here's the issue. We're not very good at wellness and disease state management yet because we take care of sick people, right? Not while they're well. We don't have a robust primary care network. Most hospitals do not. We have lots of specialists running around, okay? In our case, we have no ambulatory care centers, no diagnostic centers, no surgery centers, or urgent care centers anywhere in the city. We do not have any community hospitals. There are other systems that do have some community hospitals. We have no specialty hospital with the exception of our rehab hospital. And we have no skilled nursing facilities, assisted living facilities, or long-term acute care hospitals. And then we have this nice, big, juicy center hospital that is quite costly to go to, but it's the place you want to be if you're really sick. All right, so that's fee-for-service medicine. Where are we headed? You've heard the term population health before, population health management. At some point in time, the fee-for-service world is going to shift to, we're going to be paid a fee up front to take care of each of you for an entire year. So just pick a number. Let's say, make the math easy, $15,000 a year. Okay? If I spend $25,000 on somebody, I lose 10 grand. If I spend $2,000, I make 13. Simple math. Okay? So the target has been turned on its ear. And now what I want to do, what you want to do, probably what you've always wanted to do, is to remain well and keep your disease under control. Now that's the center of the target. And if we can keep everybody in that circle, we'll do fine. If they go outside that circle, we want them to go one ring outside the circle and back home. Okay? So here's the deal. We're working really hard to build our primary care network. We now have 15 primary care centers out through the community. In about 3 or 4 years, we're going to have 50. Okay? Close to you, as they say, in a neighborhood near you. Okay? We are working hard to develop a relationship with Florida Hospital, which you've heard maybe a little bit about West Florida Health, which is our joint company with Florida Hospital, because they have some community hospitals, which are important. They also have an LTAC. We have bought half of their home care company, so we own home care together. We're building a clinically integrated network together from a primary care and physician standpoint. We're working very hard on that. And I'll talk about other things like hospice. We have a CON that we've been awarded for hospice beds in the community, which is post-acute care. We'll talk about that. So you'll see there that urgent care, surgery centers, et cetera, and I'm going to show you a picture in a minute of what we're doing with that. And then we are really trying to make sure that we spend lots of time out in the community educating and having disease state paths that we put in place to keep people's disease under control. So the tide has turned. I'm a little schizophrenic today because I live in both of these two worlds. Today I have to make my money over here. Tomorrow I'm going to make my money over there. The question becomes, when do you jump? Well, I think you have to jump a little early, and I think you have to leave a little money on the table while you're making the leap to be prepared for where we're headed. And so that's a little hard to do. Sometimes I have to work on the board a little bit with that, but they get it and they understand where we're headed. So I'm giving you my strategic plan now. Okay, so if you're out there and you're from Baycare or HCA, here it is. We're coming. The first one is to enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of the current operations over here. This is all about you. You're the patient. You know what you want. You know what you perceive. You know how you feel about the care that we've delivered. Our job is to make you feel as best as you possibly can about the care we deliver to you. So, patient experience officers are in place. and working on patient satisfaction, and HCAP scores are important to us. Those are the scores that the state does on surveys after patients leave the hospital. And that's an important thing. And making sure that we are making as much as we can right now to invest in the future. Our 10-year capital plan is $1.3 billion. Let that number soak in just a little bit. It's hard for it to soak in on me. It's a scary number. $1.3 billion over 10 years. So we have to make sure that we do have a margin so that we can invest in the future. There's only 3 ways to make money in healthcare. You make it from operations, you borrow, or you raise money through philanthropy. And you can only raise so much there. The second one is to build a physician base, and I talked about primary care and geographic access. So I'm going to show you something else here in just a minute. And I'll talk about something called health plexes. We are going to build health plexes out in the communities. The first one you're going to see is in Brandon, right next to Top Golf. There's a reason for that. Okay? Bass Pro Shop, there's a reason for that. 3 million cars a year go by the corner of that piece of property. Okay? We're also going to build one on the old Furman Automotive property, right about a mile away from the campus, which is right at the end of your athletics field here. And then there will be others. And then the last one is that clinically integrated network. That's the hardest thing to do. And you can't own everything. You have to be able to work with others. So I have a term for you. You can write this one down. It's called co-opetition. Co-opetition. Think about that for just a minute. So we are cooperating with a competitor, Florida Hospital. We beat each other's brains out every day for inpatients. But on the outpatient and clinically integrated network platforms, we're working together and cooperating as much as we possibly can to take cost out of the system. If we both do it on our own, we'll be slower and we'll double the cost. And so we have to make sure that we're doing those kinds of things. So, here's the first priority: enhance the hospital. Several new initiatives underway at the main hospital. We're spending about somewhere around $282 million of those, that $1 billion plus, will be on the campus, re-engineering how the campus works. Getting more private rooms, moving outpatient stuff off the campus. Anybody come to our campus for outpatient stuff? Not a very great place to go for outpatient work, right? I'll admit that, okay? It's very confusing, it's very tight, it's very complex. You get lost in the middle of all the inpatient stuff, it's hard to park. I could go on and on, I won't. Bubble 2, the geographic expansion. And I've talked about West Florida Health already, and then we'll talk about the clinically integrated network. So here we go. Long-term campus master plan. We've got a 10-year master plan. That's for the renovation and expansions over the next 10 years, focusing on the long-term service lines. So we are ranked in the top 50 in the country on 6 service lines. And we've been as high as, wow, that got really loud. We've been as high as 12 programs in the top 50. So we have somewhere around 16 that are either highly ranked or are in the top 50 in the country. Drive inpatient and outpatient satisfaction. This is all about you and your family. I tell every new employee when they come in, if you're not here for patient care and patient satisfaction, you need to get up and leave. Even if you don't touch the patient, you touch the person who touches the patient. You're once removed. And then ensure that our patients have access to the appropriate levels of care along the entire continuum. And I use that as cradle to grave, okay, beginning to end. The continuum of care is everything from your transportation to everything you need in the care continuum. And we have to get rid of readmissions, when they're being readmitted for the same thing anyway, and we have to get rid of unnecessary ED visits. So, there's a healthplex picture. The healthplex in Brandon is going to be about 120,000 square feet. The one on Kennedy is going to be over 150,000 square feet. Think of it as being able to get everything you need that you can get done on an outpatient basis. So you pull up to the front door and you're greeted, you're walked in, you put your palm down on a screen, and we palm vein read you into the system so we don't have to take all that information from you. We take you to the back, we do your procedure or your x-ray or whatever it is that you need. The valet pulls your car back around. We put you in the car, tell you goodbye, and that we will send the results to your iPhone and the doctor will call you. I think that's probably how very busy people would like to have their outpatient care delivered. So, telehealth, doing things in the home, doing things in the store, but not necessarily seeing the doctor or the provider in person, but you're on the screen with them. And those health plexes will expand our primary care, our outpatient base. We'll have surgery, outpatient surgery, pharmacy, etc. in those centers. And then the last slide is the CIN. So this is the soup to nuts, beginning to end kinds of things. What do you have to have? We have to make sure we don't cross any antitrust things, because we are in some cases working with competitors. That is very complex to deal with. Position the clinical integration network to take risk. So I want to be able to take those covered lives and take the risk for delivering their health with the dollars that were being given. We got to manage the health of the population. We want to be able to go to self-insured employers and work on that and make sure that we have self-insured employee health plans. We want to be able to work with commercial insurance, and then obviously we have to continue to work with both Medicaid and Medicare. So that's a little wave of the future. That's where healthcare is headed. Everybody's doing it. Baycare's doing it. HCA's doing it. All of the other systems that are in town are working on the same things. We just have to make sure we build a little better mousetrap than they build. So thank you all very much.